All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Whole Lotta Bogeys interview series. We have an awesome interview for you guys today. I'm sure a lot of you guys have this in the bag, and if you don't, you need to. It's going to be the iRange Sports recording stick. It's going to be a monopod-like stick you can put your phone or tablet up to. We have the owner, Ligeon, here today. Gene, you want to just talk to us a little bit about yourself, and we'll just jump right into the interview.
Hey, awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. It's iRange Sports. It's obviously in a whole bunch of bags. You guys obviously had Mac Boucher on. He's one of our big supporters, and love to be on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining us. And Max's stick, I mean, dude loves to sling the ball around, put it right next to the pin, and no better way to record it than with the iRange.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah, definitely super excited about this one. We were kind of chopping it up just a little bit before we hit the record button here. We were just saying we kind of found the product like a year. What was a year ago? About
it would be, I'd say over a year ago at this point, because we had it before we started posting our on-course content. Because like anybody, we had to kind of feel out what we were gonna post, put the good stuff out, some of the bad as well. But how bad would we post and how good were we? You know what I mean? But
exactly.
It changed the game. It made everything so much easier. And I think my favorite part about the iRange specifically is we had the light model and fits in the bag, doesn't add any weight really to what you're doing if you're carrying. And if you're trying to record videos and you don't have the ability like us to call a course ahead of time and make sure that you have like 3 tee times before you, your pace of play, if you're recording, is going to skyrocket. Like you're going to be so surprised at how easy it is. Put that stick down, put your phone on it real quick, hit record, go walk up, do your regular routine, and just go from there. It's
revolutionary.
It's
extra
awesome.
15 seconds. It's revolutionary. That's the only way you can describe it, right? Like I saw the product. I don't know where exactly I saw it, but I saw it and I was like, Joe, this is exactly what we need. I was like, we have to order it today because I was like, this is super. The main thing that I was thinking about was the pace of play aspect, where it's like, we want to record these videos, but there's just it's impossible when you got twosome behind you and you got 4 guys, and it's a mess. But the iRange Sports fixes that problem.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it didn't even start. Obviously, and it grew tremendously through online on-course content and stuff. But like it really originated in trying to get instruction or feedback. Anybody that tries to get better, that either is on the range or anything like that. Like the typical product would be a tripod, and it can be a little intimidating if you carrying a tripod onto the driving range. It's like, oh, who's this guy? Like he pulls up a tripod. Now you can just throw it out your back. People don't even realize that you're recording.
Right.
You get it, and it's easy on and off with the phone. So yeah, it kind of worked itself into the market. So that was kind of cool.
Definitely, for sure. I think one thing too, just kind of hitting on that, like having to pull a whole tripod out and set it up. I think one thing, don't be afraid to like pull out the camera and record yourself. I feel like everybody on the range and at the course like has an understanding of like, we all kind of suck right now. We're trying to get better. And if this is what's going to happen and work, then I'm probably going to try it myself and everything. And with the new model that you guys have, the the Range Pro, you can now set it up at the range. You don't have to worry about the stake and having nowhere to put it down. Because if you're not at a grass range, like we have an indoor dome, I don't think they want us staking that stake down in the turf there. They'd probably kick us out.
I was going to say, we probably wouldn't be welcome back.
But and that kind of happened. Same thing, just naturally. Like people, obviously the goal was just, so I'm based in South Florida. Most places have a driving range that is grass year round, right? It's not really. And then as soon as we started shipping, it was like, oh, wow. People are like, hey, I really like this thing, but what do I do? Like, I can't stick it anywhere on a concrete, if we're on mats, what do we do? So quickly had to like revamp and kind of re-strategize. All right, okay, we need something that, is adjustable, that still doesn't take up a lot of space, but that you can at least use it, on whether it's you go to a simulator or a place where there's no grass. So that kind of just evolved over time.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say,
super
I would love to have more grass ranges here in Buffalo. It's just kind of tough,
I feel like think of a handful, but I feel like the majority of ranges around here are going to be those mats with the sidewalk behind it, where you need the Range Pro and you need to have the ability to just put it down on the concrete and hit record and go.
Definitely.
And I think hitting on that simulator aspect too, that's really huge, because that's like such a booming thing right now in the golf industry.
Right.
And you always want to be able to record your swing no matter where you're at and what you're doing. And also, what happens if you get a hole in one on the simi? You want to be able to show it to somebody, so you got to have some way to record it real quick.
Exactly. Because simulators are really cool, and like obviously got all like the cameras are very powerful. The only thing is if you record one on a simulator, how do you then hop it onto your phone, onto tech? You know, like you might want to share it instantly, and that's where I think having something that's quickly, oh, I could set it up. Everybody, and you could be with 4 or 5 buddies. Everybody has a little metal plate. Boom, they stick it on the back of their phone. You use one iRange, and everybody can kind of record whatever they want, share it with whoever they want to share it with, and off you go. So
definitely, yeah, we're definitely like in the creator world, or like this generation, even people who like aren't actively posting content, they're still gonna want to like record their swing and post it on their story or something like that. We're kind of in that generation of everybody. Even if you're not doing content actively, you're still gonna want to have some content for your personal page or things like that. So yeah, that's another whole aspect, right? So
for sure.
Awesome.
I think for like the coaching and instructional aspect too, I feel like so many coaches and PGA pros that use like the lessons and everything daily or weekly probably saw this and were like, holy crap, like they did it. Got it. The instructional one, like the academy version that you guys offer, where you can put like up to an 11-inch tablet on there. That's got to be a teacher's best friend at that point, right?
Yeah, it's very popular. And actually, like, so you can basically, the biggest iPad you can get, you can basically use that Academy Pro 4. But yeah, teachers are eating it up. And it's been like, they're almost going like, hey, how did we not know about this thing before? Why didn't anybody come up with it? And it's like, look, it's just a different way, because people are so used to, people still call this a tripod, even though it has basically a 4-legged piece. They're like, that's not really a tripod, but yeah, they're loving it. The fact that they can easily just stick their iPad on there, take it off, show the student, put it straight back on. It's all built around being super easy to use, but then still being stable enough to, like, whenever it gets windy or anything, it just stays nice and stable.
Yeah.
That's super key that we got to hit on is the wind aspect. It's not going to be blowing your phone around. You're not going to be getting that vibrating look. You're not going to look back and be like, man, that was a waste of my day. I shouldn't have recorded anything. You're going to be very pleasantly surprised at how it holds up. And I think that comes from, if I had to guess, you guys went with a good diameter for the actual stick itself, where it's going to be like a sturdy like stick, but also the stake itself is probably like what, 4 inches about roughly, and that's going to give you a very good base anchor to keep any swaying from happening. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
And actually, what it actually does is so obviously the devices that are out there before, they were more so like alignment stick type devices, right? And the fact that, look, they're also, the diameter is very small, but as weird as it sounds, once you have the stick into the stake is into the ground, the tube is bigger, and that creates kind of a platform. And once you're on that platform, it kind of stabilizes itself pretty quickly. So 2 or 3 seconds after you press the button, you're pretty much good to go. So unless you're somebody else presses the button, then you wait 2 or 3 seconds, but then it's pretty stable after that.
Yeah. Going back to like bringing a tripod out on the range or out on the course too, any sort of wind is going to knock a tripod over. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
3 super skinny legs that, like, you need the anchor in the ground for sure.
Correct.
100%.
And outside of wanting to get like a high quality golf video and not having any movement in the phone or anything, you also want your phone to be safe. You know, you don't want to have to worry about it blowing it over and landing in a puddle or some mud or on the concrete, even if you're at the range. Like, and it's sturdy, it's stable. We're using it. Mac Boucher's using it. Tons of different like pros are using it, and like PGA teachers, like lesson pros. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's been really good for us. Really cool.
Yeah, going back to like the teacher, the lesson, everything like that, even just for like the average golfer, I feel like being able to watch your own swing on a consistent basis would unlock so much for a lot of people. Because like, I come from a baseball background too, and we would record our swing all day long so we could see, because there's almost so much you can feel. But then when you see it, like, oh, I am lifting up, or I am doing this, you know what I mean? It unlocks a lot more for your game. So I feel like even the average golf, right? Yeah. So that even the average golfer who's not, trying to go out there and even, really worry about a number, or maybe they're just trying to improve a little bit, this is still like a really good tool.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where this whole thing started, is that so I come from a tennis background, and then in tennis we somewhat use video, but like I taught a little bit for a little while, and the biggest thing was my students is like, you can tell them something, whatever they feel and whatever's real, whatever I feel and you feel, it could be completely different. It'd be the same thing, but we feel completely different things, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how I explain it to them, it's whatever they feel is completely different. So the best thing to do was to show them. And then when I got into golf, it was the same thing. I was like, hey, obviously people were already recording. It was just like the ease of recording is what really made the difference of like, hey, we need something that is quick, easy. And then also, yeah, you can record yourself on the range, but then let's say you go onto the course. Why can't you take the range to the course? What is it? Are you doing something different? And now you can quickly like film yourself and say, oh, well, I was aligned wrong, or, oh, I get a little quicker on the course, or whatever it is, you know, that you can learn from the range to the course was really what was kind of driving this thing to kind of make it very easy to use. So
yeah,
that is awesome.
That's great.
And one thing I was thinking about when we were compiling our notes for the podcast and everything was, have you ever thought about like, you're really helping bring like an accessibility to people to have lessons and like use coaching? Because now there's a lot of these online tools where you just have to record your swing and send it in, and a computer or a PGA Pro breaks down your swing. And there's people out there who live in like rural areas where there's like not a Golf Galaxy right around the corner, or not a PGA, like a pro shop with a PGA Pro there that's going to help you out. So it's one of those things where like you might not think about it, I guess, but like the iRange really is like broadening golf as well. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, I mean, there are, so online coaching is obviously during the pandemic, obviously it kind of really took off, but like golf itself is growing, right? And there's so many people that are all of a sudden getting into the game. And just the fact that before, it can be a little intimidating. Like, oh, you're going to go see the PGA Pro and what's he going to say about my swing? You know, like, I just like to have a little fun. Now it becomes so easy. You just record it, send it in. You might meet the guy at some point if he's local or not, but people are taking lessons from people halfway across the world, right? And it's just about, oh, I sent my video. I want to say during the pandemic, there was this girl who, I want to say she lived in the UK, had a coach in Thailand, and she learned how to play fully from a coach that was halfway around the world, right? And it's just,
yeah, that's awesome.
It's
amazing.
just just by you, the phones are obviously much better now. So yeah, it's just every day we're just like, wow, this is super cool. And the goal was just for us to have something to record on the range, and look where it's kind of going now, which is super cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's super cool. A little bit off topic, but did you go down to the PGA show in Orlando this year?
Yes, I was there this year, and I was there the year before.
How was that? I mean, you got to get some awesome reception from some of the people and clubs that come down.
It was very, very cool. Obviously, so we were there with another company that does video analysis. So we basically provide the hardware, they have the software, and yeah, the show itself. Have you guys been to the show?
No, so we started this stuff about a year ago, and when we started realizing that we probably should go down there for networking and all that type of thing, and that's unlimited interviews there for us. And
exactly.
But we were a little bit late on the ball, but we already just like obviously decided for the next year's show we're going to be down there. And the cool thing is we've talked to a lot of people now. We're going to have a lot of people that we can go meet up with, like you, next year, and say, hey, what's up? Like, how you doing?
Right. Exactly.
Get a little in-person quick interview, see how the day's going, and it's going to be cool.
Great experience. It makes you realize how big golf is when you're down there. Like and then it also makes you realize how many products, and then just how big. Yeah, golf is massive, man. It's just unreal how many people were there. Different products that I had never even heard of, products that I never even knew existed. Like it's just a big. Everybody loves golf, and obviously it's when in winter where you guys are probably cold. Like, you know, you come down, you come here, you play a couple rounds. You meet people. Yeah, great time. Great. You guys are going to love it.
Oh,
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I was going to say we found out just a little bit too late for us to really make it happen, but next year we're
see you there next year for sure.
We had mentioned him before we started, but I think it was the guys at Dormy actually that were like, are you guys going to the PGA show? And we're like, are we going to the PGA show?
He's like, we should.
Let's look into this. And it was a little bit too late.
I think I saw, I met up with Jeff, saw Jeff there. They had a really cool like trailer that they pretty much roll out everywhere, which, their
Dude,
boots and
super
their
cool.
stuff is so good, man. It's just so
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super high quality, handcrafted leather stuff from those guys, and they're super nice too. It's super,
Yeah.
super
Very
chill
nice
guys.
guys.
So,
Jeff and Todd are
Very
awesome. For
nice
sure.
guys.
but Gene, a little bit back into like your background. How did you get into golf? If you said that you had more of a tennis background back in the day, what was your introduction with golf?
So interesting. So I played college tennis, and all my buddies on the team pretty much played golf, right? And when they would go play, I would go do something else, work out or whatever. And I was kind of like this. I had this attitude of like, yeah, golf's for old. I don't know. I come from a country where there's really no golf, so I was just kind of like, I was kind of whatever. And they took me out once, and I was so bad that I was like, I got to get good at this, and I basically just got addicted. And yeah, just got from that moment on. I remember going to a Walmart, bought just a standard set, just because I wasn't sure. Like I was just like, I'll buy a standard set, got into it, and from there, yeah, it just snowballed into like just become a golf nut like everybody else. It's just crazy.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
once
yeah.
that golf bug bites, you're
Man,
screwed,
you're
man.
done.
You're
You're
hooked.
done.
Right, yeah.
You're gonna be
You're
playing
absolutely
forever.
done.
You hit that one shot and you're like, oh my God. Imagine
Yeah,
we do that every time.
Yeah, and I was so bad, and I remember this story. Like after I got into it a little bit, I asked one of my buddies, like, so obviously he explained par and whatever that is, and I was like, okay, so how long till I break par? And he goes, well, you'll never break par. And I was like, whoa, like wow. So that kind of really fueled, like, I'm a kind of person, tell me that I can, then I'll show you if I can.
Right.
Yeah, that it was that kind of like, oh no, you'll never get that good. And I was like, okay, well, here we go. So and yeah, I got addicted from there.
That's awesome.
Super
Yeah, I
cool.
feel like that's like one of the best parts about golf is like everybody can play it, you know what I mean? And I feel like it fills that competitiveness after, like you said, you played tennis in college.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you probably had that, want to get out there and compete and do some,
Absolutely.
something active. And I feel like golf can, fill that need for a lot of people. Yeah.
There's nothing more fun than going out and playing around with your buddies and
Yeah,
winning a couple
man.
holes, losing a couple, beating yourself up, but then getting back out there and bombing a drive. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You quit a couple of times. You're like, oh,
I quit golf
Yeah.
plenty of
I was
times.
gonna say,
It's
yeah.
wild.
There's plenty of times I wasn't playing again. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the first time I quit, we played the next day. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You gotta play the
Yeah,
next day, right? Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah, talking about
Cool.
your golf story though. So when did you start iRange? Like, I want to hear the origin story. A little.
So iRange started in 2020. I've been playing golf for almost 15 years now, but obviously I wanted something to record myself, and so basically I had this self-made thing for 4 or 5 years, and I would use it, just kind of record myself whenever. And then a couple of buddies of mine were like, hey, can you make me one? Okay, cool, I'll make you one. Hey, can you make? So it kind of started, and then COVID hit, and it was like, oh, I got all this time, so let's figure out how to kind of make this thing somewhat commercial grade.
Yeah.
And then I just went through the necessary steps to, had a couple of prototypes, worked it through, and it started with the very first version. I don't know what version you guys have, but like the very first version was PVC, and it wasn't what it is now. But it kind of just slowly evolved, kind of got some feelers of what people liked about it, what they don't like, what people wanted better, and I just kept listening to what people said, and it just kind of evolved. So end of the pandemic, end of 2020 is when it really launched.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of fulfilling a need you had for yourself. You know
Correct,
what I mean?
correct.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing with, like we said, with that like online coaching boom during like the COVID pandemic time. And
Right.
I mean, golf also had such a boom during that time because it was one of the things you could do, and you could go outside and keep 6 feet or whatever you had to do at the time to be safe and have a good fun round of golf.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It was cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah,
One of the funny things I thought they did was the integration of the pool noodles in the hole, so that you didn't have to like grab the steak and like take it out. But I'd always notice, I'm like, the steak's always getting pulled out for the putt anyways. So, like,
Exactly. That was one of the weirdest things. Like it's like, man, what's the point of like, just wash your hands, like
right.
But hey, I was willing to do anything to play some golf. So
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. For sure.
So one thing too with I wanted to hit on was how have you had like any creators or people who just play other sports, or like one thing I thought that the iRange would be really useful for outside of golf was we grew up doing a lot of fishing, and there's a lot of people that record themselves fishing and stuff. And one of the things you can't do like golf is hold a phone and swing, hold a phone and fish.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
And
Correct.
being that you're always outside when you're fishing and you always can find
That's a
somewhere to
great
stake
point,
it
yeah.
down, the utility there it's there. And I think
Definitely.
like, I don't know, I feel like a camo iRange might sell to those fishermen and really get into that.
Yeah.
I don't know when this comes out, but there is a camo in the works, and it's gonna start off as more so of a like so we're working with like a special forces vet who's really into golf, kind of also a little bit on the social side. But so he's gonna do the first giveaway with some camo stuff. And yeah, like we've had people use them in like blinds when they're hunting, people that are nice. The market is there. It's all about trying to get out there. Obviously, like when you play golf, you're somewhat quick. You basically don't record for a very long time. Like it's very like, oh, here 20 seconds here, 20 seconds there. Yeah. Where if you're fishing, you might sit there for a while, right? So there's a couple of challenges around that, but like we're working through them that are gonna make it to where basically anywhere where you're somewhat in one place, you'll be able to use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
It's one of those things where I was thinking about, I was like, it's not called the iRange Golf, it's called the iRange Sports. There's some utility here. You can use it for just about anything. And like, like you were saying with baseball, I mean, swing coaches have to love that as well. If they're sitting there with the iPad recording kids' swings, and
definitely
pros too. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody wants to hold a phone this long. Like it's just, like
there's only so long you can hold it steady too.
I was gonna say, there's gonna be some handshake either way. You know what I mean? So you need a stabilizer.
A lot of those online coaching apps and stuff, if you're using like an AI type one, you need a steady hand or a steady iRange to hold up your phone and make sure that you can send them the best possible video and get the best result back. So
yeah, exactly.
Super cool.
Yeah, getting back to like a little bit of the evolution of the product, I wanted to bring up like the iRange Mini too that you guys came out.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and just kind of apparent, like you were saying, a lot of listening to the customers' feedback and what they wanted and things, and that's kind of apparent in the iRange Mini. I feel like you guys just kind of thought of everything. You know what I mean? This was like one final piece. Yeah.
A lot of it was like you said, so we listened constantly basically, and a lot of it's done through social. Like basically it's so I had a professional background where it was always customers, like everything was just the customer. So like I kind of took that and basically listened to everybody, like no matter what they had. They might have some complaint that's completely out of left field, but there could be something behind it, right? And so I kind of took that approach and said, okay, what else do people want? And then so a thing that was kind of coming up, and that's the inspiration behind the Mini, is people that walk, right? Like a push cart. Like if you have a push cart, they just wanted something there were already kind of things that you could attach to a cart, but nothing that you could really film with, right? Like nothing that you could turn every angle no matter what, quickly turn it, still have your phone there. It wasn't taking up necessarily, let's say, the umbrella spot where you might have a little umbrella holder. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where the Mini kind of came from. It's very popular in Europe because obviously people walk a little more there. But yeah, and then the whole thing with the golf cart, obviously with the angle of whether you're creating content and you being able to talk to, let's say you go live or whatever, that was basically an ancillary benefit to it. But other than that, it was really made for a push cart, and the little tripod came after. All the other little pieces just came after. After we had the original, it was like, okay, oh yeah, we can use it in this way, or oh yeah, we can use it in that way. And in essence, it's all just a phone product. You know what I mean? Like we use our phones, like a couple of hours a day that you're using the phone and you're recording. So yeah, that's kind of where it all came from.
Yeah, that's great. Like I said, it feels like just every box is checked or every little detail is thought of. You know what I mean? I was watching one of your reels, or maybe it was one of the ones that was posted, and it was just like the guy was like clicking that onto the card and then took the Mini out and it's just like, and I felt like every box was checked. I wanted to bring that up.
It's a little ecosystem, and there's a couple more things in the works that are like kind of like, again, it's just solving problems, right? Like there's in a weird way, some of the coaching has been like we've been doing like this forever. Okay, well, cool. Well, here we come, and we're just kind of like, why don't you do it like this? Or what have you thought about that? You know, like, or we've seen kids use it in a way where like, oh wait, there could be this angle right there, right? They're just, this is the way they want to use it. Cool, let's just make it, versus telling them, oh, this is the way you're supposed to use it. Just whatever they give us, we just take it and then try to see if we can make something around it.
Yeah, definitely love it.
I think having a brand that responds well to customer feedback is huge too. It's how you build like a really loyal, trustworthy like audience and a group of people that are going to keep coming back and getting your products when you drop like the extension one, for example. I feel like that also, the versatility there, there's endless things you can do with it. I could sit here and list, but for one example that we were talking about is being able to even just extend it up and get like an angle of behind the golf cart when it's just driving, like just if you're making like videos like us, like we could have like essentially like 4 feet, 3 feet over.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing, showing where we're going.
Like a B-roll shot or something like that.
Yeah, you have a drone shot. Basically, it's a drone shot from somebody just holding up the camera. Yeah, we were actually at the PGA show, and there was a guy walking around with a tripod. And I was like, man, like he just happened to have one of these little stickers on the back. It was magnetic. I was like, here, let me see that. So I put this phone on, and I basically extended it fully, and just we could look at the show, because when you're at the show, it's a whole bunch of booths and like a hall, right? So we just put it real high, and just he could basically had a view of the entire space from like where you would normally never get, which was really cool. So it's got all sorts of. You guys would probably come up with something else that you'd be like, oh, this is the way you could use it, you know?
Right.
So,
Right. That's awesome.
It's crazy how much you can do with it, really. And I think one of the things that's exciting about the brand is like you never know who's gonna buy it and what they're gonna do with it. And with everything being filmed, it's probably gonna make its way to social media, so we're gonna see it. And I don't know, I feel like there's, like we've just been talking about, there's endless possibilities for other sports and other activities that are going to be able to benefit from having this.
Yeah.
So it's super, super cool.
Definitely. Yeah, I wanted to before I forget, I wanted to hit on like the customization that you guys do on them too. I saw on the website that you guys were doing a bunch of different, like, you can do the different writing on it. Any cool custom ones you've done for someone or a company that you can think of?
Like, so I think the original one Mac had was like this bright neon color, and I mean, he didn't ask for that. He was just like, hey, send me anyone. And I was like, well, it's gonna be Mac, we're gonna do something really cool, right? I mean, the ton of people are gonna see it. As far as color wise, obviously we had the pink ones that we did with the breast cancer awareness, but as far as customization, I want to say the probably the most noteworthy one was for J.R. Smith, who he has his name on it, which was really cool. A couple of them I could probably not tell because we're kind of in talks into them coming on. But yeah, like J.R. Smith was a super cool one. Like I want to say he saw. Oh, Trotty has one. Do you guys know Trotty at TaylorMade? Trotty had one, and he had his name on it, and he actually has a tournament like I think it's called Amigos versus Mates in California, where we had basically there's like a Ryder Cup style tournament, and basically every team member had their personalized. There were 2 teams, 2 different colors. Was super cool. And that's where I think JR saw it. He's like, hey, I need one of these. So we kind of hooked it up. So that was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's super cool to watch JR's journey in the golf scene and in the golf industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Super cool. Yeah. And I like seeing any athlete, like another example would be like Justin Eldridge, if you're familiar with him, with the number 33. He has the flavored tea picks they're at Top Golf. Tons of different stuff. He also works with Malbon a lot. He was a professional skateboarder for years and years and years, grew up watching him, and then watching him evolve into the golf scene and the golf industry like he is now. It's just super cool. It's cool watching people that are really good at one thing get good at something else. It's cool.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Malbon, like he has one with, I think, his name was on it. Like, and the way we got to him was like, I think his coach was using it for a long time. They were like, hey, we would love to do something with Malbon. Let's see if we can make it happen. And he's like, he honestly said, look, I can't guarantee you, but send it to this address. And I was like, okay, cool. So we just went after it. And look, Malbon's blowing up in golf. It's just crazy. So it was so cool.
Yeah, he's the man. And
he's the man.
Everything they're doing is super cool. And I like seeing the reach that they have and everything that they're doing.
Yeah, super cool.
Super dope. So with obviously you're super busy right now at the Honda Classic and doing a lot of other traveling. How much are you able to get out and play golf now? Have you found that like since starting the brand and the business that it kind of eats up at your free time when you would usually be able to go out and swing the sticks? Or
oh man, yeah. Like, and the funny thing is, when I started, I was like, man, I'm gonna be able to play golf all the time, meeting people, and it's like, I get out quite a bit. Like I practice. I try to get to the range 3-4 times a week, just even if it's because sometimes you can't get 4 or 5 hours at a time, but you get an hour. But yeah, I want to say I play once or twice a week at least. Yeah, get out, play with the boys. Sometimes it's and the funny thing is sometimes it's a solo round. I just get out just to make sure I kind of keep playing.
when you got time, you got to utilize it. That's
For
the
sure.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple times last year I remember where I'd be like, hey, you want to go out and play around, ask around. Everyone's busy, nobody's available. And I was like, you know what? Looks like we're hitting up the par 3 course and we're going to get some work in. So
that's awesome.
For
sure.
Cool.
Definitely.
So another thing we like to ask a lot of the guests too, just because it's cool to hear about, and a lot of people will watch those "What's in the Bag" videos. You obviously got the iRange in the bag. What else do you have in the bag club wise? Like what kind of clubs do you play? What are you swinging right now?
So I have an older, like I want to say I bought it right before the pandemic. I have a set of TaylorMates, and it's a combo set, so it's not like it's like I want to say 7 through pitch is like a blade, and then as soon as you get into the longer irons, there's some kind of cavity in them. Rocking a Callaway Epic driver. I hit it so well. I don't feel like messing around with it. And then I got some Vokey wedges. Oh, and then a Nike putter. Like I got.
Hell yeah!
Weird. Yeah, this Nike putter. It's just like.
Is it? I'm trying to think what the model's called right now. I know there's the red one with the red insert. Is that the one?
Yeah, I want to say is it a Method? I think it's a Met. Yeah, it's a. The funny thing is, I was in a pro shop once, and how they have the bins where they have used clubs, and you could just like, and I just rummaged around, and here was this like Nike putter that like I think at some point was like Sky Cameron level pricing, and I was like, it was just there for like $40, and I don't think they realized what it was, and I just picked it up and been putting with it ever since. So
if it's the one I'm thinking of, that putter still sells for like 200 plus. It's
exactly.
Quality blade putter.
Yeah, I putt well with it, so who cares?
Right.
Yeah, I still play a bunch of Nike clubs actually. I got the CCI irons and then the Vapor Pro driver, like the one on the cover from the Rory McIlroy PGA game, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Sold me when I saw it. I was like, all right, we'll get it.
My previous set was a set of Nike, also a combo set. Like they had this Nike combo set, and I loved it. So I took the same concept over to the TaylorMates. But yeah, the clubs I have now, they probably got to get replaced at some point. But I love them. So like until they're really the grooves are done, I'll probably keep playing them.
Yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Exactly.
Especially in golf. I mean, you see these guys on tour that'll keep a 3-wood in the bag for year after year, and I'm sure it kills those brands that sponsor them, where they're like, "Please put the newest club in the bag." And they're like, "I'll put a head cover on it, but I'm not going to play the club." Like you see that countless times.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. It speaks back to like your driver too. I was literally telling him not too long ago that that's one of the drivers. Like when we were maybe like a month ago, we were at a Golf Galaxy looking, and we were like, "Oh, yeah, Epic! It's
I was
definitely highly rated." I was like, "It's really good."
Those,
looking at
for sure.
And the Epic, the Haywood's logical one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
I'm onto the second head. So one of them cracked, and then I had to just go scrimmage to find one just to fit it back on. But it's funny. Like once something works, it's like I understand you want something new, but like if something works, man, like. I really don't mess with it at all, like I'm very confident.
So. Once you build the confidence up with a club, there's no reason to just be like, all right, did it for a while, now we're going to take it out. I'd say there's no problem, obviously, leave it in the bag.
Yeah, correct.
100%, because then that can become your club that you kind of lean on or whatever. Maybe it's not the exact shot for that club, but you can make it work and you can put a good shot on it. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I've had a lot of things like that. Yeah, or a few anyway.
Cool.
All right, well, I think we're gonna let you get back to the rest of your day. I know the Honda Classic going on and everything. Really appreciate you hopping on. We had a blast talking and learning about the iRange. I don't know if there's any like updates for 2023, anything other than the camo stick that we talked about that might be coming out soon that you wanted to maybe sneak preview. If not,
No worries.
But
I had to ask.
So there's a couple more training aids coming. Like, so they're more like, this is obviously not specifically a training aid, but there's like the training aid space. It's like, it's interesting. So working with a couple of coaches that are like, they had some ideas. They're like, hey, can we bounce that off? So got a couple of training aids coming, and then just as far as like getting out, like the goal is to go out and play as much as we can, like, you know, like get up into the New York area, play some on the West Coast, just meeting all these people that we basically met through the pandemic, and like almost form relationships and that I've never really met, right? And now it's kind of like cool to get out, actually go to some events, go to some tournaments, and see people and interact with them. Super cool.
I gotta say, you said New York. If you're ever in the Buffalo area,
Oh,
you know who to call, and you know we know all the restaurants, where to get the wings, where to get the pizza, courses to hit up. So
for sure,
phone call away.
Yeah, we'll be in the New York area for sure. I want to say in the July-ish. So we'll see if we make it up to Buffalo. That'd be pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna be in New York in July too. So
we can make something work.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to get out with you guys.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Right. Yeah. Like you
Once
said,
again,
though,
Gene,
really appreciate the time. It was awesome to hear kind of like the origin story and everything behind it and all the way up to what it is now today. So yeah, like I said, super grateful for you stopping by and taking time.
Yeah, and one of the things
thanks for having me.
We always want to try and just put like a face and a name to a brand. And I think that we definitely like help do that today. And hopefully a bunch of people will watch this and go out and purchase the iRange sports stick like we did and help record their swing and get a little bit better at golf. So.
Awesome, man. I love it. Yeah, appreciate you guys having me. I think it's super cool. Like I said, if Mac's on something and I could be on it, it'd be pretty cool. So, and you guys are really cool. I've kind of watched some of the interviews. So it's, you guys had some who's on, and I think it'd be cool to be part of. So super cool.
I appreciate that. It's our pleasure. Our pleasure. Really,
I was going to say 100% our pleasure. We're the ones who get to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, definitely.
Super awesome, man. Cool.
All
right. Thanks again,
Thank
Gene.
you again. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.